It is a nice touch that they made the animations actually match the RF. So when you are putting the top up or down, it will animate for you right there. You know what that is? That is the most beautiful Miata that has come off the production line, and they're available for sale. This is a 2022 Miata RF, so it's an ND with a Targa inspired top. That's actually a little more interesting than most Targa tops. I'll tell you about that in a second. And I have driven this car for the last 5 days, over 330 miles, gotten 34 miles to the gallon combined with a lot of fun canyon driving. And I've driven basically with the top down in the heat and also in the very cold nights, so I could tell you all about the experience living with this car. Let's first start with the fact that I've driven every variation of the ND since 2016 except for the RF. YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from Should I Get It? In this video, I'm going to be driving the Mazda Miata MX-5 2016 ND. Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from ShouldIGetIt.com, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 2017 Mazda Miata ND Grand Touring. Hi, I'm Ben, and this is the 2021 Mazda Miata ND Club Edition. If you want to know more about my thoughts on the handling and how fantastic it is in terms of transforming into you and the car being one thing, I recommend you watch my previous ND soft top review, which is linked down below. In this video, I'm going to talk to you specifically about life with the RF, a couple of things I noticed, and how it compares to my cars. Firstly, let's start with the top. It is magnificent because it's not like a typical Targa top. If you look at a Porsche 911 with the Targa top open, you'll see that only this area here is open, and it's essentially like having a giant sunroof. With the RF, what's interesting is that you have an opening here. So you have the window open right there, and it lets the air flow through the car. You have a little bit of a windbreaker piece back here, and so it ends up being a really nice construction where you have a lot of airflow coming in through the car. Now let's talk about the actual retraction mechanism. All you have to do is you hold this button here, and it is a power top, of course. You'll see that as I hold that, the glass piece and the roof come together as two separate pieces that then combine at this hinge. You hold the button down, and it even has a little animation in the left side of the gauge cluster that shows it to you. What's cool is that process happens fairly quickly, and you can do it up to 6 miles an hour. But that is my first gripe with the car. I was at a red light the other day, and the weather was nice. It was after a workout at the gym, and I decided to retract the top. And what happened was, the light was red, I was halfway through, there were cars behind me, I started to go, I got over 6 miles an hour, and the car just stops the retraction process. And it just keeps the roof hanging in the air as if you are at a car show and you're displaying how cool the mechanism is. But what that means is you have to either slow down below 6 miles an hour, or you have to do what I did, which is pull over, turn on your hazards, let the roof do its other 5 seconds of retraction, and then get back to driving. Now, if I had my vote with Mazda, I would tell them, hey, either don't allow the top mechanism to work at all when you're moving, or allow it to go to 10, maybe 15 miles an hour. Thankfully, there is a module you can buy, which I actually have for my Mazda Miata NC hardtop, which lets you do this up to 20 miles an hour and with just one touch. So instead of having to hold the button, you just tap it, it opens the roof completely, and you can go up to 20 miles an hour. That's basically my only gripe with the hardtop. The second piece, actually I lied, I do have one more gripe. The second piece is because the entire roof does not go down like it does in my Miata NC hardtop, this left side piece right here does not have a window right there. So it is a massive blind spot. When you have the top fully down in the soft top ND or in a convertible NC, you can see the blind spot to your left. Thankfully, the car makes up for that with digital blind spot monitoring that's enabled in your mirrors, but I do find the system to be a little bit too sensitive. So if you are accelerating and you're switching lanes, the blind spot monitor starts to beep at you, even though you know you have more than enough power and space to pass safely. So that's a little bit of a gripe with it. Now, lastly, let's talk about the fuel economy and the trunk space, the actual livability. This car, I've driven over 330 miles. I've gotten around 34 miles per gallon combined, and that is with some hard canyon driving, like hundreds of miles of hard canyon driving, and this car has done phenomenally well. The tank lets you get upwards of 300 miles per tank, and it's comfortable to cruise around in. The suspension is a little bit stiff, but for long road trips, it's fine. I drove it maybe 60 miles one way, 60 miles another on the freeway. No issues at all, no fatigue. The heated seats make it really nice, so you can drive when it's cold. Last night it was 65 degrees. I was in shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops. I drove with the heater on my feet and the heated seats on. It was great, it was comfortable. The sound system plays through the headrest as well, so you actually have good sound even with the top down. And you can have phone calls because it plays your phone call audio from the headrest, and it has microphones. I don't even know where, but they pick up without too much wind noise for being able to do a phone call with the top down. When the sun is very hot, you do still have the sun hitting you from an angle here. I do wish, it would ruin the lines of the car, but I wish that this had a little more coverage. And you cannot move the visors to the side. So they only go down, they do not adjust to the side. So I would recommend getting tinted windows, maybe having the top up on days where it is very hot. But overall, this is a fantastic car. It's easy to live with. It has enough trunk space for going to Costco if you're just 1 or 2 people. It has plenty of amenities in terms of Apple CarPlay being wireless. It has all the controls on the steering wheel that you need. It has pretty solid headlights. It looks fantastic, and it handles, I know I didn't talk about it much in this video because I did so much in my last video, it handles so well. I went on a drive this weekend and I took this instead of my M2. So for the money, if you're looking for a fantastic handling car, best bang for the buck, I'd say that this car does it. If you're looking for rear wheel drive manual, best bang for the buck, the Miata ND or Miata RF are it. I paid $50,000 for my M2, and if I had to decide if I could only have one car and some extra money in my pocket, this would be it. Better gas mileage, just as comfortable, not as much space, but cheaper, even more agile, no turbo lag, not as much power, but it's such a phenomenal car that it makes you feel one with the car. It is very low to get into. It's a little bit of a struggle to get into the car, but once you're in here, it doesn't feel too low, it doesn't feel too small. And if you're a little bit taller, you can actually fit into this. I'm only 5'8", but I know guys that are 6'1", 6'2" that fit into the car. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, you'll subscribe. And right now, I'm gonna show you what happens when you put the top down and you try to drive. Oh, also the heated seats turn on automatically, so it has memory. So this is basically what happens. And then it beeps at you. And then you have to pull over. And then you let it do the rest of the operation. And that is the Miata RF. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.